Hello from Arizona. My name's Cal, and I want to welcome you to the Tough Trails DIY series. Let's get her going. Okay, in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to remove a CV axle on the front of your Geo Tracker, Suzuki Sidekick, or Vitara. Okay, all right, and we're going to do the left side. The right side's a lot easier. It just pulls out. The left side has some bolts in it, so we thought we'd show you that side. Okay, all right, cool. That's what we're going to do next. All right, guys, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this up in the air, and we're going to get it on jack stands, and we're going to pull these wheels and tires off of this. All right, so to get this started off, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove this caliper right here, okay? We're going to remove this caliper. We're going to loosen our strut bolts, which you can see we already have done that, okay? We're getting our brake lines out of the way. And then what we're going to do is we're going to remove this cotter pin and take this tie rod in loose. And then same here with your sway bar bushing right here. We're going to take that, your little link right there, okay? We're going to take that off as well, okay? So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, and then once you get the caliper off, just kind of hang it out of the way somewhere, okay? Just get it out of the way somewhere, okay? And that's going to give you a lot of access right here. You're going to need to release that because when you drop this, when you drop your strut and your coil and you remove your tie rod end and your sway bar, this is going to want to drop, okay? All right, cool. Okay, move your castle nut and your cotter pin from your tie rod end, and then from your sway bar right here, disconnect it from the bottom. It's a 14 millimeter. Let me see if I can let you see up underneath there. You might see that. Okay, all right. And then our struts are loose right now. So what I'm going to do next is, while I have this up in a good position where I've got some good leverage on it, I'm going to take this automatic hub off. Okay, that's what we'll do next. Cool. Just a little tip: if you're having trouble getting these Allen nuts off of your hub right here, use a big screwdriver for a leverage on this side, okay? And then what you have is you have your Allen wrench in there, and then you can just take, you know, this guy right here and put them on there, and then you can pry one on each side. You know, put one hand on that screwdriver and one hand on this wrench right here, and it'll break it right loose. Okay? All right, cool. Okay, and then next you're going to need to get your pickle fork out, and you're going to need to be able to separate this joint right here, okay, for your tie rod end. And you're just going to pound that in with a hammer. It's going to pop loose and it'll fall down, okay? All right, just hard for me to hold the hammer and the phone and the camera and do all that, but I just want to show you that, okay? You're going to need that, all right? I have seen people, they'll put the castle nut back on it, and they'll take a hammer and just beat the shit out of it. I don't recommend that, but I've seen it work. Okay, all right, guys, there you go. Okay, and then next what you want to do is you want to get you a jack up under here. It doesn't have to be a floor jack. It could be a bottle jack or a scissor jack or something like that. But what's going to happen is, once you remove these bolts here, this top one is a camber bolt because it has a 2-inch suspension puck lift on it, one of those budget lifts on it. Okay, absolutely nothing wrong with this, guys. All right, most people start with this. That's where they start at. Okay, anyway, this is a camber bolt because with the extra pressure on your lower control arm, it creates a camber issue, so you want to adjust it. You can get about almost 2 degrees of camber with these camber bolts, okay? But anyway, you want to secure this up on a jack, because once you pop these out, this is going to want to fall on you, okay? So you want to be able to catch that, all right? So we're going to take and slowly, actually what I'm going to do before I pop these out the rest of the way is, while I have this secure right in front of me, I'm going to go ahead and remove this snap ring. See on your axle? You can see it right there. There's a snap ring right there. Let me see if I can get in there for you a little bit. There we go. Yeah, see right there? Snap ring. Okay? So we're going to remove that snap ring. All right? And that's really the only thing that's holding this in, by the way. Okay, snap ring, and there should be a washer behind it. Okay? That's what we're going to do next. All right? Cool. Jack, hang on. Take off the snap ring first so you can get access to that. And then pop these out and then lower it down. And that's what that's going to do, is allow you to start back in here. In fact, I might actually loosen that first before I even go that far. Okay? All right, cool. Okay, guys. Now, after you get your hub off, what you're going to do is you're going to take your snap ring pliers, And see that snap ring, I already pulled it halfway off. Okay, it's already there. There's a little washer behind it. That's going to come off with it too. So you're going to take that off. Okay, when you take that off, you can just slide this axle out. Okay, you can work it from the differential side or from the back here. Either way. Okay, now, so that's it. Pretty quick and pretty easy. It's just that little snap ring holds the axle in place. All right, cool. Okay, so the snap ring is off right there. See it? There's your snap ring. It's off. No big deal. This right back here is 3 volts. Is what this is, and they're 14 millimeter. You're going to need a wrench on the back and a wrench on the front to get them off, or impact or ratchet or whatever you want to use. And it's pretty simple. This rotates around real easy, so you can get the next position, okay, to get it, okay. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this camber bolt right here and this strut mount bolt right here off the bottom. This is all done. So this is basically just sitting in here. I could probably pull this off from the back right now, just the way it is, okay. In this position, it'll come right out of the back, okay. All right, cool. Okay, see, and then once you get this out of the way, okay, then this is all going to fall, okay. This is going to fall, and then you're going to be able to just work this back out, okay. And see, I worked out this way. I pulled it out from here, okay. And you could do the same. It's probably the same, okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull this axle out. I'm going to go ahead and lower this jack the rest of the way down, and I'm going to pull that spring out, and I'm going to pull this strut off, okay. All right, cool. Look at your tie rod bushings here. See if those are okay with you. If you need to change them, now's the time to change it. Check out your ball joint. If it's a problem wobbling or loose, this is the time to change it. Same here, time to change your sway bar bushing if you need to, okay? Go ahead and take a look at all those things and inspect it. This side is all done, and it's time for a pressure washer. And the same on this side. Everything's taken care of. Disassembled down as far as we're going to take it. Now we're going to hit it with a pressure washer, clean it up. We're going to throw some paint in there, clean it up, but we're going to inspect our bushings here for the sway bar, tie rod end, ball joints as well, okay? That's a good opportunity to do that. If you want to change those things, you've had a wobbling in the front that you can't figure out, now's the time to fix that, okay? You're going to address those issues now. Cool. Okay, now what I'm doing now is I'm taking a soap, use that Simple Green stuff because I can buy it in a gallon. It's pretty cheap, does the job. Now I'm gonna, all the areas that I'm gonna want to clean up that I plan on painting is gonna get sprayed. I'm gonna let it sit there for a little bit, soak up, and then we're gonna come back with a pressure washer and clean everything up. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. Yeah, make sure everything gets a nice good coat. Let it set for a few minutes and then rock and roll. All right, cool. And here, as you can see here, we're already starting to throw a little color in there. We pressure washed it, we cleaned it up, took an SOS pad up in there, and put some, cleaned it up with some black spray paint. This is actually a matte black that we're using, okay? And we're letting that dry, and then we'll start putting stuff back together here in a little bit. All right, guys, so just cleaned those up and put a coat of paint on them. So we're going to let those dry for a little bit, and then we're going to throw them up underneath there. Okay? All right, cool. Okay, so just a reminder, when you're ready to throw these springs back in, you're going to have to let this lower control arm down all the way to get that spring in there. And what you do is you take it and go up here with it first and put it in position. And remember where your notch goes. See that notch right there? That's where your spring is going to seat at. It's right there. There you go. See? So right there like that. Okay? And then you can jack it up, put a little pressure on it, and throw your axle in. Okay? All right, cool. All right, guys. So our axles are in. We're waiting for those. So those are in. We got a little color up in here. Got our spring in position. And what we're going to do now is we're going to put this axle back in. And it's the install is the opposite of removal. Okay? So if you watched early in the video how we took it out, we're going to put it back in the exact same way we took it out. Okay? All right, cool. All right, guys, so as we close out this video, here you can see that we're actually at the end of the work or the job that we did. But one of the things I don't think I covered well enough is when you're removing your old axle on the right side right here, All you got to do is get you a screwdriver up in here and pry this out right there. See it? It'll just pop out. There's just a little retaining spring in there on the end of that shaft that's holding it. It'll pop right out and get out of your way. Usually the way I do it is I take this down, as you'll see in the video, and it's laying out, and I take this end out first. Is how I do it. I take this end out first, but when I'm putting it back in, I put this end in first. Okay, so I thought it was a pretty good tip to give you. Okay. Okay. One of the things I wanted to mention to you, because I really didn't film this being installed on this side, but I actually ran into trouble getting this to slide in, and normally it slides in. But the deal is at the end of the shaft is a little keeper ring that goes into a groove, and that groove snaps into another groove inside of your differential here, and that keeps it from sliding back out. Well, that thing was expanded so much that I was hitting gears. It wouldn't go in any farther than, you know, that little eighth of an inch at the end of the shaft, and that's it. So I had to take that little retention spring off of there and bend it a little bit to modify it to get it to go in, and then it did go in and it clicked in place, and then I tugged on it and it's not coming out. It didn't have to be pried back out again. I'm just pointing that out, that if you buy a set of axles or these CV axle shafts and you have trouble putting the right side in, that's probably what it is. It's you know, I'm in there looking inside, what's going on with this differential? It worked fine when I pulled it into the driveway. What happened to it? And all it was that little retainer ring that goes on the end. Okay, it's like a little clip ring. Okay, you'll see it. All right, I might actually pull one of the old struts out and show you what I'm talking about, just for clarification. Okay, cool. Okay, now I wanted to show you this. I told you I'd show you this, but on the right side, this is the axle goes on the right side and it kind of pushes in. And this is this clip right here, this little ring right here that's on the end of the shaft right here on the spline right there. And that kind of clicks in and locks into another position on the inside, okay? And that helps it from walking back out. Well, the ones that we just put in on this one, it was kind of bent up a little bit here on the ends, and I just could not get that in. I just didn't have the leverage to pop that in. So I ended up having to take this off, and I rebent it a little bit and put it back into place and made it look more like this one right here, the one we took out, okay? But I wanted to show you that because I didn't have it in the video in the first place. Originally, I didn't have it in the video, so I wanted you to see that. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay, and then I'm just going to add one more thing. In these boxes right here, these are the boxes that the new axles came in. Right now, they have the old axles in them, and I'm pointing this out to you is these old axles, the boots were ripped, and they were old, probably original, but they're not broken. I would save these, especially if you're doing a lot of off-roading and getting out there somewhere. One of these days, you're going to break a front axle. That's the weak point on a Geo Tracker or Suzuki Sidekick. So save these, carry these with you, because at least these will get you home. They're not broken, just the boots are damaged. You can also get rebuild kits and rebuild these in your spare time, and you'll have another backup set. Okay, so like me, I'm keeping these. We'll hang on to these, and they'll be part of my cargo when I'm out four-wheeling. Okay? All right, just want to share that with you. Cool. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it and got some value out of it. You know, these techniques and stuff that we're doing here, you know, we're using Geo Trackers and Suzuki Sidekicks, but these same procedures and methods can be used on just about any other vehicle that may be out there. So we're just trying to give you some ideas. Take those ideas and you can go and experiment on your own projects with your own stuff, okay? We really appreciate you watching our programs, and thank you.